Zeus in the bottom lane. Kind of felt like he was farming AD carry, but...
Wait, does that mean Nautilus has been played in every role except for top lane so far? Make it happen, Clear. Make it happen! I think it was...
wasn't it like an IEM Gen.G where Nautilus top was a thing for a second as well?
Did that actually happen? That would be very cool if he's like the only champion, one of the only champions that has been played in absolutely every single role. As that is an Alistar lock-in, confirming that Chovy will be piloting the bird.
It is going to be Senna Nautilus.
Senna Nautilus.
Speak of the devil.
And it shalleth appear.
Yeah. I don't think it's good. I'm not feeling enthusiastic about this one. Although the Jace here is a little bit more interesting. So the Anivia is going mid. And with the Alistar here, it's just that classic Yunara Alistar lane that has extra frontline. Like, they're saying Ruler is the main character of this draft. Sure, Chovy's going to scale up, do a lot of damage, is going to be able to match the wave clear of the Rise, will be a big threat later on, but you've got Pantheon, Sion, Alistar, and Ruler can do whatever he wants. The Pantheon value is not as high as it has been in a lot of other drafts with strong side lanes because it's an Anivia and a Sion in this game, so you know it's still going to be a great...
You know, maybe it's time for an Easter miracle. Let's get under the rift. I do think it's very cool that Chovy and Lehens use the same skins and they both debuted on Griffin together. I just think it's very cute.
Yeah.
What I don't find cool is that skin. I think it's just terrible.
You don't like it?
No, I've never liked it.
I don't know what it...
Winter Olympics in like 2011 or 2010 or something like that.
I don't know what it makes me feel, but I know what it makes Dagon feel.
2011 couldn't have been the Winter Olympics, by the way, Atlas.
I don't really know where you were going with that, but I was like, I don't
remember. Was it
old man Atlas?
I didn't know whether it was 2012 or 2010, so I went in the middle, and so I was definitely wrong. It's 2012. Thank you, chat. It's very stupid. All right. Yeah. So Chovy does have like the.
It's been updated really nicely. Like also the Q looks very. I don't know. Looks very retro in a way.
I guess so. Anyway,
it's very cool. I'm not as big as a hater as you.
I just think that there are a lot of like the Papercraft Anivia is such a cool skin.
Look, you know, Papercraft is cool, but like I think base Anivia is also pretty based. I think base Anivia looks really cool. Maybe a controversial
blue bird.
Yeah.
Oh dear.
I think her design is really cool.
Okay, well. It's good to know that she's appreciated in all of her.
Look, I mean, it's like Nefiri is this awesome darkened dog, right? But then for some reason it's like, hot dog,
True.
I'm over that skin.
There's a lot of people that don't like that skin, and I find it weird because it is one of the best in the game. And now what we've discovered is that skin choices are subjective.
Well, this Alistar pick, by the way, has made it so this lane is pretty playable here for Diablo. And this is not obviously the fasting Senna, has been for a really long time. Where you would play Nautilus as the carry and farm and just get souls as the Senna. So you have this insanely tanky Nautilus that kind of breaks the game because it wasn't designed to farm and wasn't balanced around that at the time. And that's not what we're going to be seeing here. It's just going to be a Senna that gets a little bit more range as time goes on into a Yunara. So,
yep, has crazy crit scaling as well.
Yeah, she does, and also she does not shoot very fast and can sometimes just be burst down when there's a lot of frontline deal. That's my biggest concern here for this Senna.
She is extraordinarily squishy.
She does not really live very long. Like a Pantheon stuns and presses Q, and that's the end.
Well, and we might have a little bit of an introduction as to the Pantheon stunning and pressing Q. However, Clear is going to back away, and so that means that we will not. Canyon did manage to take the top lane scuttle, though, and we'll just be heading back home once more.
I think it's a good call for Canyon to try to make a pass at the Jace on the top side, because this Alistar lane on the bottom is just going to be, you know, self-sufficient, not going to have any problems into the Senna lane. And he can just path down here now, take his Krugs as they respawn, and look for a bit of a gank if he wants to. It's going to be a pretty quiet early game with these AD carry picks as well as our mid picks. Not a whole lot of kill threat, even with a Pantheon and Jarvan in the game. I think the biggest, you know, target, the highest chance of somebody dying would be Clear, as we've already seen.
Yep. I think it's really interesting, though, that we have this very early pick Nautilus, which means for what feels like one of the first times ever, an Alistar lane is not getting massively punished. It is getting punished a bit, you know, it is Diablo with a slight advantage, but it should mean that Duro can sort of get out onto the map in pretty good standing as this game goes on, as Chovy has to flash pretty early on here, not risking it here against Raptor, as Vikla would have that Rune Prison to throw down.
I think, like Zeri, Yunara has a lot of early team fighting power around her ultimate and just how quickly she can snowball a team fight, especially the front line like this. So even in the mid game, before this Senna is really truly online and the Rise is really truly online, before he has his actualizer, Gen.G's comp is already really hitting its strides. And if they can get into a mid game where they win a team fight or two, they have a Drake lead. Yes, Senna is going to scale, but Yunara still scales too in a different way, and they just have the better front line. So I think a lot of this game for BNK is trying to finesse how they get on top of this Yunara, who has mobility with her ult. That was a close call.
That would have been a decent way to do it. I would have recommended hitting the dredge line, though, as Duro taking a fair bit of damage. Headbutt does come back. Slurkle value is kind of in,
Raptor's
but
here.
It's a great snare. Duro does get the pulverize to deny Kellen, and out they will go with help of the heal. Just the heal invested, though, and Kellen had to flash.
Am I crazy, or did
Yes.
Chovy flash off screen, or did I?
No, he flashed before when Raptor came.
Oh, right. Sorry.
I said yes, but I meant it.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Okay.
Diablo's actually doing a great job here in this lane. I'm not really a Senna believer. I know that I'm a little bit biased towards a lot of AD carries, namely Jhin, but Senna is another one that I haven't really got on board with for the last little while. Well, certainly a time where she was very, very strong, but it's not really feeling like right now, although she has certainly crept back up in priority.
Kind of like Senna when it's not a super AD carry-centric meta, because you have a lot of utility, and when it's not a very AD carry favored meta, you don't deal with picks like this where they can actually just challenge you, because you can't fight back.
Oh, Ruler's moving up. Kellen not going to find the hook yet again.
When there's no jungle attention and you're just farming souls and you're kind of taking trades like this and you're chilling and you're like, I'm stacking, it's fine. That's when I like Senna. When it's a little bit more of a mid and jungle carry or maybe even a top carry meta, that's when I'm into it. Or when Senna is effectively a support and she's fasting, I'm also about that.
They do have a Jace and a Rise, but they may not have a center anymore, as Canyon moving down towards his bottom side does get the pulverized as Duro, and that is first blood over to the Pantheon very comfortably. Turret loses interest as the cow moves away, and that is about as elementary as it gets.
I mean, the Nautilus gets the root under the turret, but they just don't care. Pantheon does too much damage.
Oh, now you've got Chovy in a little bit of trouble. He has Egg, though. They're going to have to kill him twice if they do want to take him down. They invest the Cataclysm to do so, but now Ruler's rotating up. Canyon is in a lot of trouble. Aegis is not helping out necessarily as Chovy comes back with full health. Doesn't get the stun, though, and Raptor is able to flash his way out of there.
So Chovy loses his Egg. They still end up getting control over the Dragon Pit, and the health goes really low.
X-Splash from Duro. Vikla gets out of the way.
Health goes very low for Vikla, but he will get away. Does not have teleport, though, so it's a pretty big win. It's down here, like, yeah, you can just kind of chill in the lane until Canyon shows up. And, by the way, he doesn't even need his ult to pull this one off. And the roots don't matter in this meta with so much damage output. And maybe that's why they went for the Nos. Defend a dive. Not really.
Yeah, Chovy actually thought that this was going to be a good fight for them because he did have Egg, Canyon was moving up, but Ruler just took a little too long to get there.
That's my main thing here is Ruler is here from the get-go.
And also isn't really offering that much. If it was Duro coming up, I think that would have been a different story. He actually has AoE CC and stuff like that.
I think if Ruler is there, he has Flash. If he's there a little bit faster, he might just clean up house. But I think maybe there was a bit of a miscommunication there on when Chovy wanted to go in, or perhaps Chovy thought he was going to have a little bit more time there. But yeah, I think that's the main problem. Like you're saying, I think you're on to something. As it looks like after the dust settles here, BNK will be able to get this first dragon, which is a huge win for them.
Yeah, Grand Starfall is there for Canyon, but they're not opting into anything. Vision is turned off in the river, in the Dragon Pit. As Cloud Drake will be going down. Next one going to be a Mountain, Earth, Wind, and Fire, a possibility here, which would be fun. But not going to be a Mountain Soul, not going to be a Cloud Soul, which means Ocean, Chemtech, not exactly optimal souls are a possibility here in this game.
Yeah, that's a good point.
Chovy holding on to his ult though, and we'll be able to use that in order to take down this wave. By holding onto his ult, I mean it's basically a toggle. But
yeah, I was like, yeah, it's technically true.
Yeah,
you know, keeping his mana up.
Sometimes it takes a bit to, you know, for that thing to rotate back around again.
He's got his catalyst. He's not really concerned about anything in the world. Minions, champions.
He wants
whatever.
his egg to come back though. Doesn't have that one quite yet.
I'll take a little while as is going to be able to proc his electrocute here. Nice wall.
Ooh, nice get on the cannon. As Canyon, he is on the grubs, should be able to take those down. As here on the top side of the map, Clear is trying to do damage to Keen, and Keen is just not really noticing.
Yesterday, Valdez and I cast a pretty crazy series at the end of the day. Ended up being a 2-0 with D+, but
I do remember that.
we said it on that game that neither of those games really were a thinking man's game, right? It was, we were like, all right, well, we're just going to keep fighting and we'll see the result, and there isn't a lot of, well, I wonder what will happen next. This game is kind of the opposite, right? Where we have two scaling compositions, which we have seen very little of here in the LCK, where both comps are just kind of chilling and have great late game win cons and have their own way to set up team fights. I like Gen.G's comp better for late game, but the Senna gets really, really strong the later you go. And they have the Rise for pretty good wave clear. Matched by the Anivia, but you know, there's good things on both sides.
Yeah, I like Gen.G's comp for 40 minutes into the game. I like FEARX's comp for 120 minutes into the game.
I think that's a pretty good assessment. More than the Senna stack timing, it's about, I think, the better setup for the Yunara than the lack of setup for BNK, because they have kind of almost like a pick comp with a Senna. And her ultimate could be great for layering on top of that, I suppose, but we have so many questions that won't be answered for a while here in this game. It's a small lead for Gen.G. And if you're playing against Gen.G and you can keep that lead down, because often it balloons, we've seen a 100 lead for Gen.G, you know, go to 1,000% and go up to 1,000 really quickly. As Clear's gonna flash.
Yep, gonna have to flash very early on, and it's gonna do not nearly enough to save him. This is what we were talking about. The chain CC is absolutely brutal.
Yeah, you called it out earlier, and this is the champion I said was the most vulnerable on the map. Keria flashes and still dies. And actually, Canyon doesn't even have to flash in return, so it's a huge win there. And we're actually lane swapping.
Yeah, we've got Ruler actually up here to catch the wave as Keen, he's teleporting towards the bottom side of the map. Quest not quite completed yet, but Ruler is still just up here to make sure that they can get as much value as possible.
He has 3 grubs, and they're going to get a lot of plate cold onto this Yunara early as a result of that.
Yeah, it's kind of ridiculous. You can see already up about 250 gold. Did have a slight advantage already, but just wipes away those 2 plates and should be able to clear out this wave as well. Now Canyon and Duro just hanging around with Raptor here. And as another wave crashes in, Ruler just going to go back one more time
so this
and head towards the bottom lane.
Power of Pantheon, right? Flashes,
oh, that's cute.
There's a train coming at you. What are you going to do?
Yeah, I don't know. Just probably die. Chovy flashed to try and lock down Raptor there.
Yeah.
And Raptor didn't have to flash. He's a Jarvan. It's an odd maneuver.
Look, Bird's going to have an egg. Bird's not going to care about a flash.
I guess not. But we saw from the hens, if you have flash, you're an engage tool.
That is accurate. Chovy's like, I like to do damage as CC. I like to put him in a death chamber.
That would certainly work as... Diablo is elected not to complete his quest either. It's kind of weird.
They're not questing.
No, Ruler just goes back to the lane, and while he hangs out here, there it is. The completion is done. I believe Diablo just needs to hang out towards bottom lane at some point.
Yeah, he'll just be able to get it. But like the longer he wastes, I mean, the more money he's going to lose.
Is the thing.
Like bottom lane quest completion timer is the most important. We've talked about it since like the preseason games that we had here in the LCK.
Oh. Bit of a headbutt back there as Duro is spotted out. Does have the Unbreakable Will, but definitely does not want to use it. Has already, though, and Raptor is making his way down. Flash out from the cow. It's flag and drag from Raptor, but not going to go too much further than that. As Gen.G might actually be under a little bit of fire here as Canyon discovers Raptor making his way in. Never mind, Canyon does a lot of damage. As this Brambleback comes through, there is the Realm Warp. Okay, no knock-up onto Canyon as the Blast Cone disengages beautifully. Shout out to Valdez. Sorry about that one, buddy. And the Brambleback should still go over to BNK.
Yeah, it's still a big pickup here for BNK. And Diablo's quest is completed now. So he's going to start actually getting that extra bonus gold.
There we go.
So everything's going well. The Dragon, also, because of all that control they had, could be next on the cards here for BNK. Raptor starts this up. He has control vision as Keen is coming in.
He's just driving on down. Duro finding a pulverize onto a couple, but he's likely to fall. Oh, the headbutt! And he gets himself out of the way. In the meantime, Ruler has pressed the ulti button and is looking to take them out. The depth charge is pretty good, though, as the Arc of Ruin doesn't quite connect onto Raptor. He just goes down as the Glacial Storm wails on. And there's a glorious wall from Chovy, a double for the Anivia, and Keen is just wandering underneath the turret, and the Anivia is stopping them from getting out. It's a triple as Canyon locks down another. Keen is going to die, but the zombie form gets some plates, and it's an ace at 14.5 minutes.
The game was really close until it wasn't.
Yeah.
All right, look at where the Senna is right now. Can't get in, can't get in, can't get in. Oh, well, it's so cool. I'm still going to make an impact. I'm going to snipe Duro. Duro buys so much time. And then look at this here from Canyon. He comes through here with Keen setting up the knockup. And Raptor has a really cool play here where he gets out temporarily, right? But Ruler is like, this is exactly what I was talking about before about the Yunara versus the Senna and these types of skirmishes. Just had so much damage output. Chovy's also doing quite a lot of damage, but it was just even a little bit of CC, just a little bit of setup here for Ruler. He's just like, I'm taking names. And he and Chovy just clean this squad up off of like an Alistair almost dying.
Yeah.
Oops, went too far. I guess Gen.G just calls you out. Now they're almost 4,000 gold ahead. And man, it was kind of a cool game. We were talking about scaling and stuff, and now I'm looking at Diablo saying,
you're going to have to keep scaling, buddy.
Hope this game goes, what did you say, 40 minutes? Oh, you said 120 minutes, that's right.
Yeah, 40 minutes is going to look okay for Gen.G, I could imagine. But we may not even see that, as this game is looking like it is a little Gen.G favored at this point in time. But only one Drake apiece, I guess. No double dragon for anyone just yet, but it's a Hextech Soul Wolf. This is a scary moment, as Ruler's just going to dash on top of Diablo. The snare comes in, but the Arc of Ruin goes down, and pop goes the Senna!
Release date diff, also 2-item diff versus Static Shiv.
Yeah. Yeah, Ruler is pretty strong.
I did not realize that both of those items complete. His call is done. Yeah.
Sometimes it's just you're in a suboptimal position, and that is precisely where Diablo was there. Had no real way of getting out. And Ruler had barrier that whole time.
Like, the thing about Yunara is she team fights really well. She all-ins really well, you know? She's great in the late game. She's actually, believe it or not, pretty good in early scraps.
And I'm looking at the bottom of the screen, I'm like, oh, there's a 2.2k gold lead because it's Senna, you know? Aha, Senna lead. Wait, never mind, she's farming. So it is just a really big lead. As Chovy is going to get caught out of position here, put down to the egg, and is kind of annoyingly in tower range, as Vikla will be able to finish it off. That was actually pretty cutely played. In the end, they get the egg, they get the kill, and they will be able to take a few plates here in this top lane as well.
Keen will get this turret, and they get first brick in mid, so 2 turrets here for a kill.
Circle. Diablo is just dead again! And the hook is going to come on down. Realm Warp does at least deliver the rest of them forward, so Ruler is going to get punished, but now the train has left the station. Headbutt into the Java, and Kellen smashed into the sky and is taken out by the Spartan Warrior. The Herald also going to get another charge from Duro here, and so yes, you got Ruler, but at what cost?
You got Chovy also. Right
I'm hearing some 2022 Wolf right now. I mean, come on, where's the optimism, man?
I'm not feeling optimistic here. Chovy has eggs, so even killing him here, by the way, with 4 people.
It took a while.
It takes a long time. You have a push in the bottom lane. You have this first brick going over. Ruler grabs the Herald, and Diablo's like, well, I'm not gonna let you get away with this. Ruler's like, what the hell are you doing?
He also made
I mean, seriously though, like he's just like,
I think they called the Realm Warp. I think they called the Realm Warp play. It's just unfortunately Diablo only lasts 2.5 seconds.
Yeah, the rest of the team is coming though, is you're kind of mentioning there, and like,
and he missed the route. It was just all not great.
The Senna pick, I think, is not working, Atlas.
You know what? Some would say that it's results-based analysis. But I would agree with you.
Well, interestingly, you and I both kind of said we didn't like it that much beforehand.
Yeah. Chovy is in a bit of trouble yet again, but the cavalry are arriving. Canyon still looking a little worse for wear, though, as we see the Pulverize coming in. Ruler not liking the look of this fight whatsoever, but will be able to jump in towards Raptor. Arc of Ruin, though, and Clear still doing a lot of damage. Vikla flashing towards the Yunara, and good sidestep there, but still the hook catches him out, and Kellen puts down his former lane partner, and Gen.G a couple of flubs in a row, and things might look comebackable here for FEARX.
I like your cup is half full on this one.
Do you like how I use comebackable as well, which is not a word? So that way no one can call me out, because I didn't actually use a real word to describe the situation.
Yeah.
Nailed it.
Yeah. No, it was... I struggle to find the words myself. Like you
could say unique?
Yeah.
Interesting. One of those commentator words.
Very safe. Chovy does get caught right, and they want to once again turn this into a bit of a, aha, you got our mid laner, kind of Faker Matador situation, but they just don't have enough damage. Ruler can't get access, and he does not want to opt into using his flash here to actually get the kill onto Raptor. Decides to flash away.
Oh, meanwhile in live, there is a Jarvan in a bouncy castle and isn't actually able to leave. As the flash from Kane, Kellen is able to sidestep it there as he tries to walk away. Slurkle not going to quite land as the snare is going to connect onto 2. Nicely done from Diablo for some disengage. But they lose their jungler, and that should mean that they lose the Drake here as well as, okay, Canyon going a little bit further forward, and Duro is just dead. Blast Cone does just evict everyone from the vicinity, as BNK now like the idea of a bit of a fight. Diablo sidesteps the Q as Kellen trying to get himself out of the way as Ruler wants the kill, but it's Canyon that snipes him with a spear. That is such a huge wall from Chovy.
I think Ruler was the one most interested in that fight continuing. I'm not entirely sure what BNK thought was going to happen. They got the Alistar, and he's been a huge thorn on their side. Okay, I believe that was Duro's first death of the game. And, you know, I think he's going to be outshone in this game by Ruler and Chovy because of the Boom Boom. But he has been so good. And once again, BNK are like, better kill that Alistar.
Yeah.
There's no knowing what's on the other side, but we're looking for hamburger tonight. And, like, he baits them there. Here, obviously doesn't have his ult back, so they can burst him down. But guess what? Ruler is like 3,000 gold ahead, and he is ready to just auto-attack people with his Q up.
And he did that.
And like, Clear is like, God, I just, maybe I can hurt, no. Oh, I can't play the game.
God, that wall was very large. And Chovy able to help lock this one down. Malignance is done here as well for the Anivia. An interesting choice there alongside his Rod of Ages that he already has put down. As Hook connects onto Keen, and you were talking about targets that they didn't want to engage on. I think Keen is number one. As Kellen down to 50%, Snare not quite going to work here as another beautiful wall. Means that the Nautilus not going anywhere at all. Man, this Anivia pick pretty strong, as it turns out.
Yeah, it is working really well. It turns out Chovy's really good at this pick, actually.
Yeah, has been for a while.
Yeah, he's one of the ones that has the license for it. You know, we sometimes use that term to describe which mid laners can play it.
Mm-hmm.
He's been arguably our best Anivia player for a really long time. And this is just not, it's a composition that can't really function if it falls this far behind. Like, and it's really not even about the fact that it's behind, more so that it's about the Anivia and the Yunara being so big that like they just evaporate. Like literally their health bars just disappear if they interact with Gen.G. And so everyone's running away constantly, but eventually Chovy puts a wall up and somebody gets caught, right? And
it's so frustrating, right? Because Gen.G has 2 true tanks in the Alistar and the
look at the item for Diablo. He's like, maybe I'll hurt them now.
Do you think Canyon versus Clear is a fair fight?
No.
No, I don't think so at all. Canyon just executes him as another wall is going to block off an entirety of terrain. Diablo, you're not allowed to be there. Absolutely not. Train is going to be avoided there with a flash, as Keen doesn't really take damage.
At least they know Canyon doesn't have ult.
Yeah, there we go.
They're like, he's far away and he can't get to us, so I guess it'll be okay.
And Chovy doesn't actually catch Vikla with that particular wall either.
To be honest, too, one of the things about the Senna comp that kind of irks me, that I wasn't sure if we were going to talk about it or not, and I'm not trying to do results-based assessment, but...
Outcome-focused assessment?
Or, sorry, outcome-focused, the thing. Diablo is one of the most mechanically strong AD carries in the LCK. Why are we putting him on Senna? Why are we doing that?
Yeah, there's been a few times where we've had issues with players picking things that go against their
They could have
playstyle.
picked Lucian. We kind of mentioned it, but
He's now chasing after Keen, though, as there's a flash from Vikl, looking to try and get on top of Ruler, and Ruler isn't too worried about it. There's a knock-up onto Chovy, though, as Dawning Shadow does fly forward. Raptor is extraordinarily dead. Canyon's the one to lock down that kill, but Gen.G's health bars are at least whittled down somewhat. Canyon diving towards Clear yet again. Flash out from Kellen will at least keep him alive. But they are closing in, and Canyon doesn't quite have ulti just yet. And I think that FEARX are in a lot of trouble. There's the train, nice double knock-up to come through afterwards with the Q, and Ruler's able to lock down, or at least help with a couple. Down goes the cow yet again, but it's been Duro the sacrifice for quite some time. As Chovy keeps himself alive.
Calculated
with the arm guard.
Calculated.
Oh my gosh, that's just unfair. You're going to be feeling pretty salty about that one if you're FEARX, but honestly, the game wasn't going great.
Were you feeling salty about the negative 8K hole you're in, or the Senna that's 0-4 before this, or maybe that time you almost killed Duro but then lost the game? Yeah, there are a few things that have been near misses for BNK this time around.
It might have been the accidental lock-in of the Nautilus, as Ruler is going to get jumped on by Clear, and Clear is going to die for it.
Clear's like, do I 1v1 anyone in this game?
Yeah, well, Diablo, oh no, you shouldn't have shown yourself.
No,
And Ruler with the Arc of Judgment, the burn is ticking, and Diablo will keep himself alive. Does have the Piercing Darkness, and it is Raptor that takes him down in the end. Ruler really feeling himself in this game. He's 5,000 gold ahead.
Diablo's face on the player cam was like, yeah, I knew I was safe.
At least now he has Swifties. That will allow him to get out of the way of at least something. The armor penetration, though, is just kind of like a cruel joke at this point because of how incredibly powerful Keen is. And without very many items, it's just so hard for Diablo to really do anything at all in this game.
Yeah, the Dragon is going to be Hextech Soul Point here for Gen.G. Raptors in the area, but, I mean, even without Ruler, I wouldn't test your luck. They're going to commit the TP.
All right, they're going to see what they can do. Good wall to block off Kellen as Keen is just tanking everything up himself. Duro has turned off the lights. He's going to get rid of that blast cone. As you can see, FEARX have started off this Dragon. Raptor goes in, Cataclysm to get him out of there. It could be a 50-50 as Vikler is in a good spot to do damage. As Raptor going down very, very low. Canyon down to the GA as Keen is just kind of a brick wall as they're okay. That is Ruler turning up, and he does definitely enough damage. They'll take themselves Soul Point, and they will wipe the floor with FEARX.
I mean, it's almost like, it's what, 30 minutes into the game? I think they just end.
That is what it's looking like.
Not even 30 minutes. It feels like it is. It's 26 minutes. They're just like, yeah.
Goodness.
It's
11,000 gold lead. Like, this is done.
Vikla, nice Rod of Ages, nice death timer.
All right, well, Keen is absolutely massive. 1-1-17, by the way, on the Scion. Was a beautiful performance, to be perfectly honest. I actually feel like he's kind of the unsung hero at the moment for Gen.G. In this particular game at least, but everyone having a pretty fantastic performance. And honestly, this is what we expected to see out of Gen.G against KT. Better late or